Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for coming by today. Please remember to comment, like, and share the videos as that helps with the algorithm. And today we have another bullion related video by popular demand. W.O. Cassidy saying, thanks for the bullion info. Do you think you can do a similar video on constitutional silver in a similar way, perhaps discussing what the premiums look like for both buying and selling in hot and cold markets? I like buying walkers, search for varieties, and either flip or stack the basic stuff. I like to devise a more scientific method using your computational systems. I'm just wondering who put them up to this, because these are my computational systems. It's usually a scientific chart like that. So for those of you who didn't watch the video on the cooling of the bullion market, you can click on the link above and watch that video. And getting to the point about 90% and how that's been affected or disaffected during the run up to COVID and whatnot. This has been one of the most fascinating things that I've seen in 25 years, and that is when before COVID, so 2019, 90% silver for the decades leading up to that was the redheaded stepchild of. I'm sorry if you're a redheaded stepchild. I apologize. Is there? I don't know what analogy to use now. It was the redheaded stepchild of the bullion market, even of the coin market. Old U.S. coins that are made out of 90% silver. So let's go back a little bit more and explain a few things. I'm using the term 90% silver. He used the term constitutional silver. It's also called junk silver. These three terms refer to older U.S. coins that are made out of silver but do not have a collector market. So the coins are made out of 90% silver. So that is something that is where the term came from. The term junk silver is a term that predates me. That's been used, I think, just as long probably as 90% silver, because it has not been reassayed into 1 ounce trade units that are 999 fine. Sometimes you also see world silver, which will be coins that are not U.S. coins that are made out of different purities. So that's kind of an offshoot. Constitutional silver is a marketing term that's new in the last 5 or 10 years. So the term stacking and the term constitutional silver were not around that long ago. To me, they're marketers' terms used to convince people or rebrand things. So, and not that I'm mad about that. I mean, that's just things change names over time. I mean, apparently football and baseball teams change names. I didn't even know about that. I don't watch TV and sports. So, but people use new terminology, and we just got to get used to it. So before COVID, though, you used to look at, we would sell 90% silver coin at melt, and that was full retail. For years, that was full retail. And guys would buy, the wholesale level was 10 or 15% back, because some guys were probably getting some of that refined. So, you know, the buybacks were always really low on that compared to other things. The crazy thing is that during COVID, when there was a huge backlog on people looking for silver, you saw a big run up in the premiums on 90% silver coin, because people would buy whatever they could. And it's kind of like when you saw the run up on the housing market recently too, where junk houses were selling at full retail. But to me, the real reason for the 90% silver run up had to do more with fear mongering and mail order companies than anything else. Because what happened is you started to see these advertisements coming out where silver half dollars were trading at, the numbers were astronomical. It was like, $30 a coin, $40 a coin on coins that were worth $10. Right. And so the way that works is you would see those companies, if they made an order and they sold, $100,000 worth of 90% silver, well, all they had to do was reach down into the marketplace and say, hey, if the current value is, 12 times the face value or 15 times the face value, we're going to go ahead and offer 20 times. And so you saw these huge premiums start to shoot up on stuff. So those numbers aren't exact, by the way, but the point is, you saw premiums start to crawl up of $3, $4, $5, $6 per face value, and that was something that was totally unusual. And that went on until roughly March of 2023, and then you started to see those numbers crash back down. And then you had the bank failure, and they ran up for a hot minute. But then now I'm seeing guys that their buy sell spreads are basically $1 over or near spot, and you can buy it from them at like $2 over. Like, so you're seeing a lot smaller and lower premiums on all that stuff. Now there's still people, I think, once again, if you're the last to hear about this, there's probably some people still in small towns who they're probably paying 24 times when they should be paying 20 times or 19 times, and so that's unfortunate as news gets to them last. Along the same lines here, Lucas is saying, he really appreciated the video with the pre-COVID insights, and he wanted to know a little bit more about precious metals in general and investing. And do you stack anything yourself? And I wanted to comment on this as well because, so I don't view precious metals as an investment. Investments to me are kind of different things. I mean, you can argue there's different types of investments. Coin collecting can be an investment in that you're buying something that's maintaining value and hopefully going up in value. I've always viewed precious metals as a little bit of a hedge against inflation, but also as a savings account in an inheritance, things of that nature. I don't really consider it anything that you can really use as an investment that builds wealth. And so this is where I can really get skewered by all the haters out there. But if you want to know how to build wealth, just read the Dave Ramsey material. I know everyone's got a fancy way of, like, you do this and you do that and your airline points and your credit cards, and that's not how people get wealthy. It's just not. And no one that I know, I don't know anyone who's really become wealthy because of precious metals. Now, I will say this. I know guys that they put all their savings into precious metals, and really they would have the point is that they were saving the whole time, and they have money because they were saving, right? It's the idea of actually putting money aside. But you can't. The metals don't pay dividends like mutual funds, stocks do, right? Like they don't pay any type of dividend over time, and so it's a different asset category in general. He had asked about me stacking. So the funny thing is, occasionally I'll throw a few things back here and there, but I'm never ever attached to it, and I really do use it like a savings account. There are things that I have and find that I'm like, I can't really sell this item. I never view that about precious metals. So, because what'll happen is something else will come up that's more pressing or urgent or want or a need, and the first thing I know I can look to is like, okay, well, what have I accumulated? What have I saved? And at that point, I can look up and say, okay, oh good, well I've got 100 ounces of silver that I've accumulated. I can use that, and so I know where I'm getting my money from without having to worry about pulling from some other collectible that I'd rather hold on to. But that's just more of a personal want than anything else. That's not like a strategy or a tactic or anything like that. So once again, I'm never actually kicking people out of the precious metals party. I'm not telling people not to buy them. I actually like it for a savings account because you buy stuff that you enjoy and you're not likely to spend it again later. You're likely to still have it later when you really need it. And I don't want to get the reputation of talking people away from it, because I don't. But I just don't buy into any of the hate, the fear mongering, and the misinformation that people get when they view stuff online. It's great to have some precious metals. It'll suit you well to accumulate things that have value. And by the way, this is true of gold and silver. This is true of collectible coins and currency, as long as you're not buying them from mail order companies and paying 5 or 10 times what they're worth. The great thing about all of that is you're buying something that has value. And most Americans consume, and they buy and they buy and they buy. And the things they purchase are worth next to zero. Go look in your garage, go look in your closets, go have a yard sale. Try to sell something on a secondary market and see what it's actually worth on the secondary market. And what I have found is that the people who have put their hobby money, their spending money into either gold or silver or into coins and currency, they have value later on in life versus the people who simply buy into a consumable hobby or just buy stuff at Cabela's or at Target, depending on what their bent is, right? Like they end up with nothing of any value down the road. So anyways, enjoy your weekend, your week, your day. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.